everybody, it's Quicken, and welcome back to Tattoo Talk Tuesday. If it's your first time joining us, Tattoo Talk Tuesday is our weekly interactive talk show where I take user-submitted questions and try to lend my experience to you guys as a tattoo collector. So today I wanted to touch on a subject that I've already talked about. Videos like this exist all over the internet. And it's a conversation that happens almost every single day in tattoo community, especially online. And you know what I'm gonna say before I even said it, and it's people copying tattoos. So I have a hard time discussing this topic because 2 years ago I made a video all about this subject where I talk about my crybaby tattoo being stolen and the person messaging me and saying that I was their tattoo inspiration, and how I replied in a, I guess, less than excited way to this person. And in the video, I encourage everybody watching to go and seek out talented tattoo artists who do not copy and paste and who create original pieces of art, and to patronize them and give them your money versus somebody who is just skating by and riding the coattails of other tattoo artists who put in the most work. So I think that video was received here and there. And of course, with any video like that, you're going to receive negative feedback. A lot of this negative feedback either comes from people who don't see any issue with copying tattoos. They say, hey, there's an image out there. I want that image. You having the image is what introduced me to the image, and now I want it. A lot of people think that tattoo theft is flattery. There's a lot of comments on the feed that were like, I would be more than flattered to have somebody take one of my tattoos and wear it. And I mean, I'm not super sure where the flattery comes from, but I think a lot of that does come from people who may not have a ton of tattoos, who may have never actually had one of their tattoos bitten before, or I don't really know, maybe it is genuine. I'm somebody who is not really on that fence. I don't think it's flattering when someone takes one of my tattoos. It's cool to be inspired by my tattoos for sure. I've seen different takes on my cardinal, different takes on my shark, and that's cool. Do it. I get tagged in people who have a really similar back tattoo as mine all the time, and I have to say that my tattoo is based off of Flash. It's not an original concept, whereas my shark tattoo is an original concept. So it kind of depends, and a lot of that language isn't super familiar to people who are diving into tattoos and experiencing them for the very first time. That's where I think some of this like flattery language comes from. But once you get into tattoo culture and realize that it is a billion-dollar industry, when people come along and they copy tattoos, they mar it for everybody involved. It's funny, the inspiration for this video, I mean, I get questions all the time. Sometimes I get heart-wrenching questions that I don't even know where to begin to answer. I got one on Tumblr 2 days ago that said like a husband and wife designed a tattoo together with a quote that was special to their marriage, and then that tattoo artist designed another tattoo based off their original concept and then put it on a flash sheet. They said, what do I do? That's my tattoo that represents my marriage. I don't know. It's so hard because all of us have so many feelings about this sensitive subject. And I feel like the more tattoos become socialized, the more they become accessories versus permanent pieces on our body, that value gets diminished. But I feel like there has to be conversations that come from maybe people like me or people who have experienced tattoo theft where we bring it all back together and remind people that these are pieces of art that are private to us, and we wear them every single day, and we potentially commission the artist to create the piece, and then people come and pick up the scraps. It's strange, it's weird, we don't like it, it's icky. But when I say we, I know that there's going to be commentary that's like, don't include me in your fucking sassafras because my tattoos get copied daily, and that's okay. So I'm here today to talk about inspiration versus copying. I'm not the first person to make this video, I don't think, but I just wanted to share some things that I say to questions I answer a lot. questions and, I mean, things that I experience every day. You know, a couple months ago, I was under a lot of heat because somebody said that they had an appointment to get one of my tattoos and they wanted my approval. And I told them that they didn't have my approval to get one of my tattoos and that they shouldn't have messaged me and that they should have left me out of the process. I got a lot of heat because it was like, wow, somebody asked you and you said no? Because, you know, as much as I love my subscribers and as much as I love the people who contact me, I do have the right to say no if that's how I honestly feel. And I'm not here to like hold anybody's hand if they're like, hey, I'm running with one of your concepts. No. So I want to talk about inspiration versus copying because I guess that my language and the language I use and the ways that I feel maybe have not been expressed by other YouTubers or other bloggers or other Instagrammers or other tattoo artists who put out the word. So I kind of want to go over what I do and how I feel and bring that language back to you guys and have a conversation. So how do you avoid copying someone's tattoo directly? You heard what I had to say in the beginning and you're like, okay, I don't want to copy anybody's tattoo. But I saw a tattoo that I didn't know I liked. Saw it, now I like it. So I have a video on my YouTube channel, if you've never seen it, that's all about brainstorming tattoo concepts. In the video, I create almost like a mood board where I take a bunch of different ideas and concepts, tattoos that already exist that I was inspired by, and I put together a folder on my phone that you can kind of go through. And in this, it's how you can kind of create a mood board with your tattoo artist. If you see tattoos and you don't know how to be inspired outside of what the tattoo looks like, you can only see tattoos. You can't see like an image. Like if you wanted a bumblebee tattoo, but you can't look at an image of a bumblebee, you have to look at a tattoo of a bumblebee. I have a video all about how you can put those images together into one big mood board and kind of have a conversation with your tattoo artist about what you like and what you don't like about certain tattoos in order to give a truly authentic tattoo experience to your tattoo that isn't copying off a bunch of people but is inspired by the tattoos that originally inspired you. I think this is a really safe way to have a conversation with your tattoo artist that still includes visuals, because if you are a visual person, showing the tattoo to your tattoo artist is what feels most natural. You come in and you're like, hey, I have this image and this is the tattoo I want. It's best to at least have wiggle room or at least talk about a couple tattoos so you don't end up with an exact copy. Not all of us have access to completely original 1,000,000% talented tattoo artists. So if you feel like, you know, you live in the middle of nowhere and you cannot access these like super artist tattoo artists that you see on Instagram and you have to go to a local shop, give somebody a ton of options. Another thing I like to do if there is an image or a tattoo that I'm inspired by directly and it's not like a whole mood board idea, it's not something that's like a bunch of things, it's just like, oh, I like that, that's it. If you feel like that's the case with your tattoo, my best advice is to find an artist who has a very specific like stylized technique that they use. Whenever I get tattooed by Jessi Preston, for example, I feel like she has a very specific style, a very bold, simplified, traditional that has a very nice little feminine touch to it. I love that. She uses bright colors, lots of florals. Everything she does, I feel like, is super unique to her unique style, and in a lineup, I can always pick out a Jessi Preston tattoo. Every time I get tattooed by Jessi Preston, we usually have to email back and forth because we're not from the same city. And usually when you're emailing a tattoo artist, it's hard to show them 1,000 pictures or talk about nuance and things like that. So I can trust that when I email Jessi a couple images, she's going to look at them and with artistic ability transform it into something else that could never be a copy. When I got my swimmer girl from her when I got my burning bra tattoo, even when I got my bang trim tattoo. I sent her specific images, and then when we met in real life, she said, hey, this is why this image doesn't work, but this is what I did to change it. For example, my swimmer girl, I sent her a picture of a girl doing a cannonball. And when I met up with her in New York after that, she said, well, I took your image, but I thought about it, and when a person is physically doing a cannonball, this is how they would actually do it, and this is the logistics of a real cannonball, so this is what I changed. And I was like, brilliant, you're brilliant. Same with my bang trim tattoo. When I was talking to Jessi, she said, just with gravity, this is how the image would actually work. And Jessi took an image that I shared with her of a person getting a bang trim, and she added little pieces of hair, she moved the arm so the anatomy would be correct. And I can trust that Jessi will always do something like that so that an image I found can be turned directly into a tattoo. You know, she put the girl in a baggy sweater with a floral design, and I think it's brilliant. If you can find a tattoo artist that has a very specific and unique style, it's always guaranteed that you're going to get a unique piece that is not copied from someone else. For example, SadBoyKurt, I feel like in Warrington, he has a very kind of dreamy and mystical kind of style, and I feel like if you go on his Instagram, his style is so specific and unique. If you went to him and you were like, hey, I want a witch tattoo, it would be in his style, which I feel like is very identifiable. You can go on his Instagram and it's very specific. So if you showed him a tattoo of a witch that you liked, he would turn it into his style, and then it would be something completely brand new. If you find these tattoo artists that have very specific stylized ways to their tattoos, I feel like you're always guaranteed to get a very unique tattoo that has not been done before. Even my back tattoo, like I mentioned, which is a very old piece of tattoo flash, I'm not the first person to have this flash, but I am the only person who has a tattoo that is completely stylized in this way. Mark Cross is very specific in the way that he tattoos, and I feel like I have a tattoo that no one else has just because I went to him and I said, I've always liked this piece of flash. It invokes this kind of imagery in my mind and I want to represent it. Mark took that and he produced something that is completely his own. And I feel like if you see other people who have the same back tattoo as me, it's still never ever going to be the same. I think that's the best way to make sure you never copy somebody's tattoo. And plus, if you commission these talented artists who are true artists, who are tattoo artists, who can imagine and dream up these very specific tattoos, not only are you putting money in the pockets of people who are benefiting the industry, you're getting the best tattoo. So I feel like, oh, that's the best way to do it. That's how I do it. That's how I feel like you'll always get a tattoo that's never been done before. Another way that I like to get tattooed that guarantees that I'm not copying anybody is by not using any pictures at all. I kind of do this to Derrick Brimsy all the time, but I feel like all the tattoos I've ever gotten from him are so awesome. I remember Derrick did the back of my knee. If you remember my tattoo healing video, that's the tattoo I feature. When I was emailing back and forth with Derrick, the only thing I told him was a hand holding a piece of wheat. I didn't send him any references. I didn't tell him what I wanted. I just said a hand holding wheat because I like bread. When I met up with Derrick, he showed me the tattoo that he designed and it was awesome. The hand has a tattoo on it. The hand is holding the piece of wheat. It has a little cuff to it. And I was like, I love this. I was not a part of the process. I was not there like, yeah, put a little ruffle on the cuff. I was completely absent from it, and he showed me a tattoo that I absolutely loved because I saw his portfolio, I trusted him, he's my friend, and I love it. A year later, I did the same thing. I got a tattoo from him, and I just said, sad handcuffs. He emailed me, he said, I'm going to be in Philly, do you want a tattoo? I said, yes, sad handcuffs. He said, okay. And when I met up with him, he showed me the sketch that he created, and I instantly loved it. No reference photos, no sentences, no paragraphs, nothing. I gave him a little bit of an idea and then he rolled with it. And I thought that was awesome. You're going to have to approach a tattoo artist whose work you are familiar with and comfortable with and love in order to kind of roll the dice in this way. But I also do believe this is a great way to not copy someone's tattoo. I've seen hand tattoos that I really love. I've seen handcuff tattoos that I really love. And although I was inspired by those images, I did not take those images with me to the consultation or in the consultation process. I just was verbal about them and I left the rest up to Derrick. And honestly, I love the tattoos that he created with just a couple words, and I think that it was brilliant. There was no way I could be copying another tattoo if I just gave him a couple words. Those are my techniques I use in order to take inspiration from existing imagery and tattoos, but not to directly copy them. I feel like in this way, I patronize all my favorite artists. I'm seeking artists that are amazing and talented and true artists with true inspiration, true creators, making something unique for me that I'm happy to wear forever. But what do you do when your tattoo is copied? Obviously, this episode came from somewhere, and it's because, once again, someone is out there taking my crybaby tattoo, and it's kind of like, at this point, I'm so exhausted, but I'm also really embarrassed because I trusted my tattoo artist to make something unique for me. You know, in our consultation process, it was the same thing, not really any pictures. I said, hey, I want a crybaby tattoo. I don't want the image of the baby because it's scary. I want an eyeball. And I went to tattoo artist Mike Ski, who does really amazing text tattoos. He's a sign painter, he's a tattoo artist, and I know that all of his text specialized tattoos are my favorite. My Joanna Newsom tattoos are from him because they involve text. So I went to him for a specific text tattoo. Since then, I can't even tell you how many times that tattoo has been copied. It was something he created original, specific for me, and I feel like him and I should share that sense of that pride, like loving that tattoo. And honestly, every time it's taken from us, because it was not flash and it was not a copy, it was something he created with a couple words from me, it kind of sucks. So I say, if you need to copy someone's tattoo line for line directly, don't take a picture of it. Do not take a picture of it. Don't put it on the internet. If you need my tattoo, you don't get to take a picture of it. You don't get to celebrate it. You don't get to treat it as your own. You can have it, put your shirt back on, and then that's it. Because it only took me 20 seconds to find this. And no, I'm not spending every single day searching the internet for my tattoos. Unfortunately, people send them to me constantly because it's not 2 eyes anymore. It's a million eyes. Everyone's on the internet checking on these things and seeing them and witnessing them. How many times is a brand that you're following reporting that some other company is biting one of their images? It happens so often because all of us are on guard. And I think if you need to copy one of my damn tattoos, you need to keep it off the internet, or else you are going to receive feedback. And I think that you should be honest with your tattoo artists. I don't know if any of you guys remember, I think it's High Voltage, that's Kat Von D's tattoo shop. One of her tattoo artists tattooed this image on a girl, and it turned out that the girl had brought in a Johnny Gloom flash, and the tattoo artist recreated it on her line for line, and then posted it as his own work, and then the internet went crazy. Kat Von D had to make a statement, and their official statement was the girl brought in the image, so they didn't know that it was a copy. If that's the case, the girl who brought in the image basically caused all of this controversy. You know, the internet, all eyes are on the internet, and Kat Von D and her shop are so famous that 1 million people watched this, like, kind of PR hiccup develop. Now, Who knows what really happened, but I would say, you know, if this girl honestly brought in this, from what I read from the back and forth, she brought in a design on like a Sharpie on paper to have tattooed. I think, you know, I do see a lot of tattoo artists now that say client's reference in their Instagram post, which I think does alleviate them from a lot of fault. But at the same time, that girl could have caused that tattoo artist his career by biting that original piece. But who knows? So much goes into copying tattoos. You know, even if it doesn't come from the tattoo artist and it comes from the girl who lied and said it was her own idea, his reputation's at stake. Kat Von D's reputation was at stake. I was reading through the comments and I saw something that was like, typical of Kat Von D's tattoo shop. And I was just like, oh shit. So much is at stake. So, I mean, is this video just a love letter to not copying tattoos? I don't know. You can't stop it. You can't stop the process. You know, so many people are getting tattooed now, and a lot of people just want to wear tattoos and they don't know why. So I think if people just take a second to enjoy the process and take a second to receive a custom tattoo, you take so much of that copying out of the mix. Now, I'm not talking about like very commercialized tattoos, like a Garfield tattoo, a Playboy bunny tattoo. Like, I definitely understand that that stuff exists out there, but from my perspective, it's the crybaby tattoo that people keep getting and tattoo artists keep posting on their own page as if it's something they create. More than anything, I want to open this discussion up to you guys in the comments. What do you think? All of the times on my Tumblr that I've received messages like, my best friend stole my tattoo artist put my tattoo on somebody else. All of these things are so upsetting to me, and I try to help and answer, and I hope there was some insight provided to you today with my techniques for not stealing other people's tattoos. But there's just so much out there, and so many people who are hurt by people biting their tattoos. When I get a tattoo from Jessi Preston, I'm paying for the time she spent drawing an organic piece to put on me. If somebody comes along and copies it, then they get all that for free. I don't know. It's shitty. It's an awful analogy that I shouldn't have said. But all I can say is there is a ton of call-out culture out there on Instagram. And although some of it can be really exhausting, I see tattoo artists more than ever who post something and they're like, I'm sick of posting this, but here's my tattoo versus the tattoo someone stole from me. And the comments are all the same, you know, fuck them, fuck off. But all we can really do is continue to shame this behavior and curb it along the way so newcomers and people new to tattooing don't pick up these habits. You know, the Instagram profile of the crybaby that I just showed you, if you go through their Instagram, you know, they have Alex Strangler tattoos that they bit, and they have, I guess, Guy Le Tattooer tattoos that they bit, and it's like, are they brand new to tattooing and they think that it's okay to emulate some of their favorite tattoo artists? Or did no one tell them that that's not all right? Going through these tattoos, I've seen it all before, and it's really upsetting. But if they're new to tattooing, do they not know? I'm not sure. I could talk about this forever. It's something I talk about all the time. But it's so hard because there are such divided feelings on it. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Share your horror stories. I mean, even my friend Hannah, she said one of her tattoos blew up on Tumblr once, and she can't even tell you how many infinite amount of people have the same exact tattoo, where she'll be in a public place and she'll see her tattoo. Who knows? Maybe we just have to start a conversation that isn't negative, and that is a positive approach on not stealing tattoos, and not fuck you go die for stealing my tattoo. Who knows? I love you guys. This is Tattoo Talk Tuesday. Keep the word alive in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if it's your first time here. I make videos like this every Tuesday. You can catch last week's video and all the other videos in between in the playlist down below. And until next week, bye.